I'll Google it later, but can I Wikipedia it first? Or can I Twitter it? Hello, Simon here, and have you ever wondered why we use company names as verbs? If you have, this is the video for you. It's something that English speakers instinctively do, but don't really know how or why. Check out another video on this very same thing by Tom. Now, it's not unusual for a company name to become a verb. I remember when I was young, my mum would always ask me to hoover the floor, Hoover being a vacuum company name. And if you worked in an office, you might be asked to Xerox something. Then, when Photoshop became a popular tool, it wouldn't have been strange to say, don't worry about it, I'll Photoshop it later. But why does this happen? Stay tuned for the end of the video for my theory on this. Google first got me interested in this topic. People would often say, I'll Google it, or just Google it if you don't know. However, no one really said Wikipedia it. That just sounded strange. Now, of course, you don't have to use the company name as a verb. You can simply say, I will look it up on Google, or I will check Wikipedia. But for whatever reason, some company names seem to work as verbs, whereas others do not. For example, you could say, I'll Facebook you later, or WhatsApp me tonight, or can we Skype tomorrow at 6 p.m. However, for other company names, it doesn't seem to work in the same way. I'll WeChat you when I get home just seems wrong, and I'm going to Twitter that right now doesn't work either. Now, the why is a more complicated picture, but the co-founder of Google, Larry Page, might have played a role in Google becoming a verb by writing in a mailing list in 1998, have fun, and keep Googling. Then later, in an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer in 2002, one of the characters turns to the other and says,
Have you Googled her yet?
Apparently, this is the first widespread use of the word Google as a transitive verb. But it doesn't really explain everything. With the popularity and daily use of Google, the word just slipped into people's daily usage, just like Hoover, Xerox, and Photoshop before it. Now Google is synonymous with searching for something online. Still, I wondered if that was just the case. I mean, Twitter is incredibly popular, right? However, you wouldn't say, I'm going to Twitter my thoughts. Rather, you would say, I'm going to tweet my thoughts. Twitter is popular and used around the world by many people, yet the word Twitter doesn't work as a verb. I have a fun theory on this. It's not proven and it's not tested. My theory is that for a company name to become a verb, it needs two things. The first thing is to be popular and ubiquitous. However, more importantly, it needs to have a long vowel sound. For example, the A in bake and cake, the E in C and B, the I in pine and right, the O in road and so, and the U in rude and statue. Google, for instance, has a long vowel sound. So does Skype, WhatsApp, and Uber. Wikipedia, WeChat don't, and neither does Twitter. It might explain why we are going to tweet something rather than Twitter something, because the word Twitter doesn't have a long vowel sound. So, what do you think? Does my theory work? Do you have any theories of your own? Or can you think of any other companies that work as a verb or don't work as a verb? If so, leave your comments below so we can talk about it. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and check out more videos from us here at 3 Guys English.